I guess Savannah, probably Hillary, and then there's Terry. Okay, your broadcast is going to be empty for the next 10 or 15 minutes. And I've got a meeting I've got to run to for 10 or 15 minutes. Okay, so I want you all to do one little problem while I'm gone. It's a committee meeting to hire someone, and they could not find another time, and so forth. So I want you to definitely, page 90, if you haven't done so, practice 21, 22, and 23, that high-low. If you haven't done those, please practice those. I want you to practice a flexible budget, number 25 on page 91. So I've got to run. Sorry, I'll be back in 10 or 15 minutes. The meeting probably runs an hour, but I told her I'd give her 10 minutes. Yeah.
He went to it. He's in hiding. He's in your trial or something. They can't find it actually. So you guys, I forgot to put your certification on the form I sent in.
Mine.
Both of yours. Have you completely left off?
Yeah, she ain't put me on that. So what's that?
That means I had to send an additional form to correct it.
So does that mean we get an extra week?
Yeah, we're gonna,
That's what it sounds
by
like.
the way, please be here very early.
Hour, like 1 o'clock, like an hour, like an hour.
At most 30 minutes.
Okay.
But do not go.
Wow.
Because if they see you in the room, you have to start doing taxes. Think about it.
That early?
Do you show up early to an appointment?
Do I?
It's a normal person.
My appointment's at 4 o'clock, I show up at 3:55.
Okay, so you can show up 5 minutes.
I just sit here. Yeah.
Don't forget to have your ID.
I need to get there.
Oh, I went and got one of those ones that you like this.
I just got one from mom to bring one home or order. So she probably got 2 of them.
That works. And then for yourself, because you have to sign your form. Be ready. We are full.
Yeah, that's the problem. I'm not.
7 for 30 minutes.
7.
7 appointments for 30
Oh,
minutes.
never mind. Oh, you said we had to do 7 and 30
No,
minutes.
there are 7 appointments every 30 minutes.
Like I got on the practice lab in mine. It took me like an hour and a half. I didn't know what I was doing.
When?
Well, I mean, I knew what I was doing. I was doing stuff with.
Maybe I should have went to before.
No, it's fine. I can stay. Are we allowed to stay?
The longer you're here, the longer I'm here. I don't get paid anything over 3 hours.
We don't get paid at all.
Hi, I've done my 2 years of Vega. I'm on number 4.
So how do you get paid for this?
I'm a student worker. Nicole, one of our, that she's been doing it for Vega, she graduated December 17th. She's literally volunteering for time. So before we get the returns, that month. What tax class?
This class?
No, the tax class.
1:30.
1:30?
Right. Usually that's the hour.
Well, what time's the class supposed to end?
1:45.
Okay, so I'll probably go here 2 o'clock, but.
Like so he go up to 1 minute. So we can just show up 12 o'clock and just sit outside. Just stay here. Sleep. Street. I was in, I was looking for the psychologist. Yeah, the cost of getting. I didn't even know about. I don't know anymore.
Great job.
Like, walk back and get a call. Okay. No, it's just, I didn't have the full. This was sitting there, so it's very good. It's, I mean, tried it so long, it didn't even had it on TV. I didn't use that. No, I got to. Listen. I ran out the door and get back. I tried this.
Okay, sorry about that. Little break. None of you are in the entrepreneurship program. Miss Belcher is only a visiting professor. We're gonna make that a full-time job. And she'll probably apply for it, and so forth, but, the last committee I was on was for the county professional. Helped get Mr. Imel up here. Then he got in as dean and so forth, but, we're gonna have to plan a day for a test. Now, we know chapter 2 and chapter 3, I won't put anything on the test from 1. Chapter 2 was a bunch of journal entries and a manufacturer's statement. Chapter 3 is the high-low method, the flexible budget. And I couldn't give you the income statement real short on variable and absorption costing. So we've looked at a few problems, but we've had snow days, we've had today, we've had interference. So what was your homework for today? Do you have that, Monique?
It's 15, 18,
15, 18, what?
22, 25.
All right, But now, what I asked you to do while I was gone was try to be looking at, trying to find them. Well, 21, 22, 23, 22 was already assigned, and so forth. So what we're going to do, we're going to back up to page 90. We're going to look at 21. We won't have a test Thursday, but we'll have it Tuesday. So Tuesday, a week from today, we'll have our first test. But we still may be proceeding with chapter 4 even before then, but chapter 4 will not be on the test. Okay? But now any day we have a test, Jonathan, you have a class before 11 o'clock, Cole, Clayton, Monique. All right. You four and probably Terry and Hillary and Savannah could be here earlier. And Morgan, I'd have to let her out her principals earlier. Morgan has a principals test on Thursday. So I sure would want to give her 2 tests in one day. So, but if you want to start like at 10:30 on Tuesday on the test, I'll be glad to get you started and I'll let you start also. I haven't even made the test yet, but when I do, I'll try to make it before Thursday so I can tell you exactly what problems are on the test. Jonathan, what kind of test do you like? You like multiple choice or true false or problems?
I definitely not like problems.
Whoa. What do you like, Cole?
Multiple choice.
Clayton, what do you like?
Multiple choice.
All right, let's hear from the ladies. Well, really? Well, I like to grade multiple choice, but I can scan them. It's funny, when I came to the community college and we were doing those forms, I know I've got cost solutions on here somewhere. Somebody spots them, please let me know. Right here, okay. When I first went to community college, we did those old Scamtrons, right? And professors were grading those things by making a key on the Scantron and taking a hole punch and punching a hole through all those papers, or driving a nail through the inch or something, putting the key on top of all the other, then going through it and sorting it out. And I thought that little machine didn't cost much. I complained and fussed. They ordered a little machine like we got downstairs, but you just run them through and so forth. But something so simple, people just don't have sometimes. I was telling my accounting class, Morgan was in there. I was in Buchanan County history. I had to be at courthouse at 8 o'clock, but moved the courthouse over there. And didn't leave that courthouse till 7 o'clock. It was a trial. It was a little dispute about land that my family property was involved in and so forth. Anyway, the jury went into session at 6 o'clock. We finally got out at 7. They kept saying I'd have to be back today if that jury hadn't reached a decision. I said, I'm not. My brother could stand in for me. I'm not coming back to hear what the jury has to say because I'm not going to cut classes tomorrow. And I was told then the judge would get me in contempt and whatever if I didn't show up. Well, I was not going to show up no matter what trouble it got me into, but it's over. The high-low method, I think you're catching on to that by now. And we worked with a little bit, but I know here during snow days and confusion days, we may have not have got a handle on it. But on this particular problem, you should have worked this one this morning if you hadn't already, or if we hadn't already worked in class, or if you didn't do it for homework. But the bottom line on 21, the high activity, and then here would be the low activity, and then you take the difference. All right, $3,000 then divided into 480 gives you what? 3,000 divided into 480. All right, did you get 16 cents, Jonathan?
I'll be honest.
Clayton? Monique, you got 16 cents? Morgan, did you get 16 cents?
I got part of it.
All right. Let's copy this down, folks. Then I'm gonna give you the opportunity to work one on your own. You look at a chart, Jonathan, and you take the high activity and put down the dollars. And you take the low activity and you put down the dollars. And you take the difference. You divide the difference in units into the cost of 480, and you get 16 cents. Now you take that 16 cents and you can apply it to the high level, 34,000. That's $5,440. Well, you can take that 5,440 from this, and you're going to get 6760. What they're doing here is just checking it. And then you take 31,000 times 16 cents, and that gives you 4,900. All right, that's all there is to it. Right here, these first three lines. All right. Now 22. Has anybody worked on 22? Did anybody get to 22?
That was one part.
All right. How many of you worked 22 for homework? Just two of them. Okay. Now 23 I assigned today. Have we done 23 in class? You didn't do 23 for homework. Okay. I want you to do 23 by looking at this as a model. Then we'll look at 22. Now, Cole, when you get through with 23, I want you to check it with Morgan. Jonathan, when you get through with 23, I want you to check it with Monique. And Cole, when you get through with 23, bring it and let me check it. Clayton.
All
All right, so let's do 23, and we're going to compare and check.
right. What was the B part? Number 20?
All right, 21, I didn't even read it. What is the budgeted utility cost for September if 31,050 machine hours? All right, that's a good question, Jonathan, to know that. You multiply the 31,250 hours by 16 cents. And we know the fixed cost now is 6760. So multiply the units times 16 cents and add it to the fixed cost of 6760, and you'll come out with this number. But yeah, that's, you got to apply it. That's a good question. All right, 22 is homework. Let's try 23, and just do it the way you see it right here. You at home? Try 23.
For the variable rate, you divide the hours first. for the total cost.
The difference in hours divided in by the difference in cost, and you'll get the variable, yeah.
Be the first one first, all right?
Yeah, you gotta get this variable rate first. Then you apply it to the high and low to prove what the fixed cost is. Got it yet, Morgan? Jonathan, you got it?
Yeah, I got the A part.
Okay, Monique, you got it? All right, now, on 23, using the high-low method to determine the cost formula for maintenance costs with machine hours as the basis. What aspect of the estimate equation is bothersome? Don't worry about part B. Within the relevant range can the formula be relied upon? Don't worry about part C. So Jonathan, compare your A part with Monique before I ask for answer. Finish, Cole? Morgan? Okay, Cole, compare your part. A part with Monique, with Morgan, and I'll look at Clayton.
I don't know if I did.
Clayton, what'd you get, 18 cents? All right, 18 cents, right? You knew what you was doing there, right? High, low, difference, divide, you got it?
But the thing I was confused when I kept getting the money, it was 880 minus 1900, but I would assume it can't be negative, right? So I flipped them. There's no negatives on there.
No, wait a minute, are you sure that was negative, wasn't it?
It is negative. See, I didn't even think there could be a thing. That's why I was
Yeah,
confused.
it is. Huh. That's what you had to use though.
Well,
That's
I knew
correct.
how to do it.
Oh, okay. Now, you got the 1620, the 540. But now you didn't subtract those from total cost.
No. Oh,
Now, if you subtract those from total cost of 9 and 3, I guess that was the 9.
the 9,
Yeah, let's see, 540. Total cost 1960. Now, if you subtract, which, they should be reversed. Why does that give you 2,500? Because it's a minus 540. Altogether that gives you 2,500. All right, but anyway, you got it. Okay, now folks, look at this one. All right, we know the difference in cost. This is funny. You don't have this situation often. Cost for 3,000 units is way more than 9,000. Yeah, we definitely want to produce 9,000. But anyway, the difference is a negative dollar amount, and you got to divide a negative dollar amount by the difference in units, and you get a negative 18. Now this is your negative. When you multiply negative 18 by 9,000, you get a negative 1620. All right. Now negative 1620 and 8,800 added together gives you 2,500 fixed cost. And 1960 and negative 540 gives you 2,500 fixed cost. And you can go back that word, but I don't like the negatives, okay? All right, now 23, 22, just glance at it if you would. It was some homework for today. We got to get over the budget. Now on 22, 25 is your difference, 60 is the difference in cost. The difference there is $2.40. This is a normal problem. You should be able to work it. Are your fixed costs? All right, 60 units times your variable cost from 202 will give you $58. It should work the same thing if we plug it into the 35. And here you're just setting up a formula. That's $58, that's 72 units, using 240, gives you $230.80 total cost. I told you those Y's and A's and B's don't mean a thing to me in mathematics. You can always replace with anything you want to. All right, are we good with the high-low method? It'll be on the test. Are we good? Good, Margaret?
I told her if I have like a guide in front of me, it's easy to remembering what you subtract.
Oh, you don't remember that?
Oh, I don't know about that.
You say it's gonna be on the test, you mean multiple choice or?
We have-
Even if I give you a multiple choice test, I'll make sure you have to calculate the answer.
Okay.
No, you'll have to calculate the answer.
As long as I have.
But now if I can find you a multiple choice test, I probably can. But I'll have to get a test bank from the company if I have to. I'm not gonna sit down and write out 33 multiple choice tests. It'll take me 3 hours.
They'll make you a test, question.
If I didn't have a test bank to write out 33 multiple choice questions, it'd probably take me 3 hours.
I mean, like the company that they'll make you look at your question.
Yeah, they've got it. They've got a lot of different aids. Anyway. Now we've got to look at, folks, I guess we had all right, today we're supposed to have what, 22, which we've done. All right, let's run back and look at 15 real quick, see if there was anything special about it. Number 15, plank wide and All right. Departmental overhead rates. Now, first part of this chapter was overhead rates. Now, we practiced that a little bit, not great, but we did something. Now it says required. Computer plant-wide predetermined overhead rate using direct labor hours. Morgan, what was your answer on that one?
For A. Take that 800,000 divided by 56, I got 16.
All right, you got how much?
16.
620?
16.
All right. Now Morgan got this one correct, okay? Calculating the plant-wide overhead rate. She took the 600, I guess that's fixed and variable. What was the 10 and the 40, Morgan?
It was from the budget to have labor hours per assembly.
All right, divided by that equals 800,000 here, of course, divided by 50 gives you $16 an hour. Overhead rates normally are easy to calculate. Now, Monique, did you get B part, computer plant-wide predetermined overhead rate using machine hours? All right, same old way, but you got a different answer. Clayton, did you get C part, compute overhead rate using machine hours for assembly and direct labor for finishing? Jonathan, Clayton? Well, fellas, I'll tell you. That's why I married a woman. These men never get anything done. All right, this is C part, folks. You just had to calculate the overhead rate for one department using MH machine hours and one for using direct labor hours. You got $790 and then you got $499. Well, that's going to be, don't like to add them together. You can't add them together. But if we did, that'd be $12 and probably 89 cents or something like that. But up here for the plant wide, here, department individually. Okay, D part, determine the amount of overhead that would be assigned to a product that requires 5 machine hours in assembly and 1 direct labor hour in finishing using the answer developed in ABC. Well, ABC, if we were using just this one, it'd be easier. So let me see what they use. They're using different, ABC. So if we used $1, one hour times 16, 5 hours times 10. Well, if we assigned it from answer C, it'd be 5 times $7.90 and 1 times $4.99. All right. I don't like that one. They weren't specific what to use. All right, now we had 18 also, but 16, I do want to show you 16. Well, I have it up there. Now, what does it look like we've done? Somebody tell me what we did here in 16A without reading the problem. Why would we debit manufacturing overhead and credit cost of goods sold? Somebody tell me. Over applied overhead. Overhead was under applied by 66, and we had to clear out manufacturing overhead with a zero balance and credit cost of goods sold. No, it's over applied. And what did we do here? It was significant. When significant, we had to take a ratio of work in process, finished goods, and material. Take that ratio, get a percent, and divide the 66 up between 3 places to close out over and under applied. Probably need more practice for that. And I want you to take a minute and read number 17 since this one didn't make sense to you. Number 17, looking at it together, what is the total predetermined overhead rate per direct labor hour? Well, we've got work in process T account. We put in materials and we put in labor and we put in overhead. Now we applied 120,000. That's one of your, all right. That's one of the numbers you need, 120. That was applied overhead. All workers are paid the same per direct factory overhead is applied to work in process on the basis of direct labor hours. The only work left in process at the end of the month had a total of 2860 direct labor hours. Does anybody know how to go about starting that problem? Did anybody get a start on it? All right. Well, what is the predetermined overhead rate? Now we could do one calculation here. The work in process left in process at the end of the month had 2,860 direct labor hours in it. But that's 35,000. That includes materials and labor. All right. There's a couple different ways to go about it. So let me show you real quickly the easy way. They've got the easy way, I think. Now, we know overhead's 120,000. But where did they get 5,000?
That's in the T account of labor, it says 5,000 DOT.
All right. You see, all workers are paid the same rate. Factory overhead is applied on the basis of direct labor hours, and we'd put direct labor in there of 90,000, which was 5,000 hours. So it was easy to get to 5,000. What's happening there?
If somebody's moved here from North Carolina, put the house there, and bought the house here, what all do they need there? Aside from their income.
All right. Unless the house was over $500,000, ignore it.
Okay.
They don't need it.
Okay.
No. We're booked up for tomorrow night. We'll see how it goes. We'll get you all ready in tax class. Okay, so $24, have we got that? Okay, now, if we take the overhead that was applied of 120 minus the real, we got a problem here, 1,500. Now, in B part, it gave you the real overhead of 121. So you don't have to fish in the dark here. They give you everything, okay? So 1,500. Now, when we post that, it's a shame I can't draw you a T account, but if you drew a T account and you put on the left, you got 121.5. On the right, you got 120. The difference is 1,500. We've got to put that in. We were under applied. Applied 120. We were under applied. When you're under applied, you got a credit factory overhead and debit cost of goods sold. You're putting it into cost of goods sold. Cost of goods sold should not be include 120. It should include 121.5. So we put 15 more hundred in it. All right, now other problems that you had for today, if we ever get to them, was 18. Under and over applied overhead. I think we're working with about the same thing. Using information in the work in process inventory, the rate is $20,000 divided by 10 or 200%. Now, when you're dividing dollars into dollars, you get a percent. When you're dividing hours into dollars, you get a dollar amount. All right. So this one, what predetermined rate was used during the year? and it says it is applied according to dollar amount. So if we look at 18, A part, you look at work in process, they put in 20,000 for factory overhead. And they put in how much for labor? 10. So if you divide 10 into 20, you know that's 200%. 2 is 200%. 2, move the decimal 2 to the right. 200%. Okay. 1 is 100%. Okay. The amount 40,000 should be prorated because it is large relative to the balances. Now, provide arguments to be used for deciding whether to prorate the balance in the overhead account. Now, how much balance do we have in the overhead account? They had a 40,000 debit balance in factory overhead. 40,000 debit and 20,000 credit. That's 20,000 difference, isn't it? So it should be prorated. All right, it should be prorated to prorate the overhead on the relative balance of the appropriate accounts. Now they took cost of goods sold, finished goods inventory and cost of goods sold, and work in process. You add them together and you divide all of them into that, divide that total amount into all of them to make these into percents, and then multiply and allocate. We need to work one of those Thursday. We will. I'm just trying to get to 25 today.
Where's the 520,000? Adding all three of them?
All right, let me see. All right, what do you see 520,000 right here?
The sum of all of,
The what?
it's the sum of all of the work in process.
All right. They've got those added up for us, Morgan. That's right, but they got them added up vertical. We got to add them up horizontal. Just add them up horizontal. What is that? 50,000 plus 200 plus 270, and you get a total of 520. So divide 520 in each one of those. Change them to percent. Okay. Let's look at 25 in the moments we have. Now, this is a flexible budget. The Sioux City storage system prepared the following overhead budget. You got 12,000 hours and 16 and 20. Fixed overhead remains at how much every time? 32, don't it? Only your variable varies and your fixed stays the same. All right, but your fixed goes down per unit with the more units you produce. Should the 101,800 actual total cost be compared to 96,000 expected cost for control purposes? All right, now look at 25A. I'll just read you their summation. The comparison is inappropriate. Actual cost should be compared with flexible budget costs, the same level of output. In this case, 17,600 units, not 16. The flexible budget formula allows determination of costs at any level. So if you do it at any point, you take 80,000 divided by 20,000 and you get $4. The fixed amount's going to be 32. So if we take 17,600, we multiply that by $4 variable, and we add the 32 to it. Now we can compare 102,400. All right. Now if we looked at the budgeted, the actual, they have to give you the actual. They were favorable on the variable were unfavorable on the fixed. They went over the fixed 800. The company did well, controllable variable costs, but fixed costs were 800 over. And we're gonna have to work on these budgets. So for Thursday, and I'll try to give you example of the multiple choice on the test. I want you to do 27, that absorption and variable income statement. And 28, those are easy. 36. They didn't give you a whole lot. Now let's go over to problems real quick on page 95. Do problem 38. And on page 96, do problem 40. Now we're reviewing overhead rates, high-low method. We're gonna be looking at under and over applied overhead Thursday, and we'll wrap it up, okay? So I guess we're good for today. Didn't get in a very long class, time the beginning and the end.